I love a bacon cheeseburger, don't you? What could be better? Except I have to be careful. The food police may be watching. This thing is filled with salt and fat. I better eat it quickly before someone takes it from me. The food police are coming.
This is not about banning fast food.
So they say. They say they just want to protect us. Protect us from that nasty, unhealthy food that makes us fat.
Obesity is the terror within.
I call these food nags the prohibitionists. The prohibitionists and other social engineers say people cannot be trusted to make their own choices. When it comes to food, Americans obviously can't. Just look how obese we've become.
2/3 of American adults are seriously overweight or obese.
This is coconut. This is like a good taste one.
So these kids better not hold this bake sale.
We baked all this stuff all last night and we worked really hard.
Too bad. Bake sales and Girl Scout cookies send the wrong message. They suggest that it's fine to eat cookies. Maybe the prohibitionists will sue the Girl Scouts next.
You make them taste good on purpose, don't you?
I guess so.
Of course, maybe eating cookies could hurt these kids. But my question is, who gets to decide what you eat? These kids' parents? You? Or someone else?
And now, the man who shatters conventional wisdom, John Stossel.
The food police are coming. They're upset that you're not eating right. They want an extra tax on bad foods, a Twinkie tax, they call it. The higher tax will steer you to these healthy foods. Won't that be great? And then everyone will be thin, healthy, and have a pony. We just need a little guidance from the government. And today's politicians just assume that policing what we eat is a job for government. They must intervene because we Americans keep getting fatter. A former Surgeon General says being fat is worse than the terrorism of September 11th.
Obesity is the terror within. It is destroying us, destroying our society from within. And unless we do something about it, the magnitude of the dilemma will dwarf 9/11 or any other terrorist event.
We have lots of labels, and some special food taxes and bans have already passed. New York City, Baltimore, Boston, Philadelphia, and the entire state of California just banned trans fats. Trans fats are a kind of fat that can raise bad cholesterol levels. However, trans fats also keep food fresh longer and improve its taste. So you don't have a cholesterol problem? You want the great taste from trans fat? Too bad. You're out of luck. And it doesn't stop there. Here are some other rules from the prohibitionists. Los Angeles banned the opening of new fast food restaurants in this poorer section of the city. 33 states tax soda. Illinois has a 6% tax on candy. The prohibitionists in California, New Jersey, and in my hometown, New York City, have even put a stop to school bake sales. It's to protect the kids, of course. They were eating all that garbage. Though some kids told us they don't need to be protected, and some parents weren't thrilled either.
I really don't see how a Twinkie a month is going to make my child fat.
Bake sales brought in from $20,000 to $40,000 profit per year for extracurricular activities and clubs in our school. And now that that's being taken away, all that money was gone. So it's absolutely ridiculous.
And in this row are 3 high school students who used to earn money from bake sales, thousands of dollars, which they used for after-school activities, bowling, trips to the UN, donations for cancer research. So would you stand up? No more donations?
Yeah, things like all of our extracurriculars, like Model UN and even sports teams, got almost all of their profit from bake sales. You know, $600 a day coming in. And without these bake sales, we can't do all these extracurriculars. And it's an oxymoron that these bake sales helped us do things like soccer and basketball. And we don't have the money to do that anymore.
But the cookies were poisoning people.
I mean, I think that, especially by the time that you're in high school, you really have already established your eating habits. And if you really want to stop kids from eating badly, you need to, educate them when they're in elementary school and middle school. You need to teach moderation.
All right, well, show of hands, how many of you think a ban on school bake sales is a good idea? Wow. Well, that's even the Mimi Roth folks here? Come on. How many of you have heard of Mimi Roth? Her work is one reason that they can't have a bake sale. Roth is a crusader against fat and president of a group called National Action Against Obesity. So, national action? We need national action?
Well, we've got a national price tag. We're in the throes of a national obesity bailout. The annual price tag is $147 billion annually, expected to go up to $344 billion annually in the coming years. So, yeah, a national effort needs to take place.
But what about free will? People want to eat what they want to eat. Aren't we free people?
I actually agree with that, John. I think any adult has the right to do whatever he or she wants to do with his or her own body. But don't hand me the receipt on that. I don't want to pay your bill. And what we're seeing is we're all subsidizing this habitual, reckless behavior with food. My family, we eat right, exercise daily. We're not on one prescription, but our family health care premiums have gone up 30% in 3 years. We're all experiencing that kind of situation. We also know that in health care, in the medical fields, a third of it is wasteful spending, up to $750 billion. So much of that is because of obesity. A third of the most common cancers are obesity related. Almost all type 2 diabetes, we've eaten ourselves into that. And so it is a crisis, and it's a crisis when you have 20% of preschoolers overweight, 30 to 40% by the time they finish elementary school, and by the time we graduate them from high school, they're as fat as the rest of us. That's a problem. You know what? If they would just drop dead, I think far fewer people in the government would actually care, because it wouldn't cost as much money. But guess what? We find out that the obese live a long time in a purgatory of chronic illness, and it's costing a lot of money.
But if cost is a justification to restrict people's behavior, then we should ban all kinds of things. Cars, motorcycles, stairs.
No, I'm not a prohibitionist, and as someone who's not religious, I'm definitely not a crusader. But what I believe is that we have to do one or the other. If people refuse to do what is right, we used to not put helmets on children and allowed many brain injuries until it became the law. We wouldn't wear seatbelts until it became the law. Well, we're refusing to eat properly and take care of our bodies. So we either need to make it a law, which I think is the last resort, or we need to do it ourselves. We're refusing to do it ourselves, and we're passing that bill on to our neighbors. That, to me, is unfair. Either hold people accountable, make them pay for it, reorganize and recategorize many illnesses as elective. If it's a result of an elective behavior, pay out of pocket, and if we refuse to hold people accountable, then you have to have government intervention.
One thing we do agree on, which is nice, is you were upset that your grandmother got a special sticker as a handicapped person so she can park her car closer. Yeah,
when I was a kid, back in the 80s, I think my grandmother may have been the very first person who had a handicap sticker because she was obese, and I was mortified by that. And, you know, I think that that's the direction of mediocrity this nation has gone.
So some states have passed laws saying you can't discriminate against overweight people.
I think that the obese are looking for special protections. We already have it in Michigan. They're asking for it in Massachusetts, and that's really the trend that we're seeing.
San Francisco, Washington has it. So
But here's the reality, John. You eat yourself into obesity 9 times out of 10. We already have disability laws on the books. We have harassment laws on the book. If you eat yourself into a certain predicament, you should not be seeking special government protection.
So it's wrong that on the airline, as happened in Canada, that we have a picture of the man that this man was, the airline was forced to sell him just one seat.
If I pay for a seat, if you pay for a seat, I expect to use my whole seat, and I expect not to be in your seat unless we're intimately involved.
They were just saying, let's be kind to people. Let's not discriminate. The stigma.
If you refuse to sell a seat, that is a problem. But when your expectation is to come in and not only take your seat, not only take the armrest, but to put part of your body into someone else's seat, I think the protection maybe needs to be on the thinner person.
Girl Scout cookies.
Yeah.
You want a ban on Girl Scout cookies?
No, here's the thing. Girl Scouts are a great organization. They're a community service organization. You don't sicken the community you're promising to serve.
But
and
that's
they earn
their business model.
Wait a second. You can put it on the shelf with other junk food. There's no reason to get rid of the cookies, but don't send girls out to sell it under the guise. Let me tell you, you eat a box of Thin Mints, you didn't do anybody any charitable works. The girls who sold it to you, you paid $3.50. Those little girls got 40 to 60 cents. Give them $1, leave the cookies behind, and now you've helped somebody.